Good evening, Padawans and Padawins. Yes, it is Monday night once again. And you know what that means. That means it is time for two Ewoks in the park. Yes, my friends, we are back to bring you something new this week. New series that started up a couple of weeks ago, but you're a little bit behind. But that's okay. That's okay. We're getting caught up right now. Acolyte. Or I'm sorry, The Acolyte. Started up. Episode 1 and 2 tonight is hopefully what we're going to be covering. So do me a favor, grab your favorite adult beverage or whatever it is you want to drink. Something to nibble on while you're doing it. Sit back in that beanbag chair and enjoy the ride because me and Sully are about to blast off. Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, why, thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Ewoks in the Park. As JT mentioned, I am Sully, the geek, and he is the redneck. Can't miss it. Can't miss it.
Especially now with the sunburn.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I had a little bit of color over the weekend, but this Irish boy tends to only turn white or red. So,
right.
With that being said, let's get right down to the nitty gritty because, wow, controversy.
I only have one thing to say about it. Shut the fuck up and enjoy the damn show.
But it's political statements. It's
not.
It's adhering to the other cultures that are out there that we need them to be a part of this, and I quote, it is, quote, the gayest Star Wars out there, end quote. Don't even ask, because that was a whole interview in and of itself. But
here's the funny thing about that, Sully.
Yeah.
The only thing in any way that has been gay,
yeah,
about episode 1 and episode 2 and episode 3 is the fact that in episode 1 the words "killed their mothers" was used. Otherwise, I mean, it's not like you see two girls going at it in the corner or two guys going at it in the freaking jail cell.
Yeah. Listen, I don't care what your political standpoint is. I don't care if you like gays, straights, bis. I don't give a shit. Okay?
Here do I.
You do you. You do you. Now, just to kind of...
I'll do me, and there we go.
Just to kind of add to this, currently the Acolyte is at a whopping, and yes, I say whopping, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, whether you trust Rotten Tomatoes or not, that's entirely up to you, because really, it is a collection of all reviews that are out there, including user and viewer and audience reviews.
Right.
So 84% currently for the wonderful people out there that are critics that, to be honest, don't know their left foot from their right because they think they know movies and they don't. And
you mean they don't know their right hand from their right hand?
Yeah, pretty much. And a 15% audience score. Now, a lot of people will blame Disney for this. It's Disney's fault. Disney's the one that did this. It's Kathleen Kennedy's fault. Sure, you could probably place some blame on this to them, but at the same time, it's freaking Star Wars. It's freaking Star Wars. Think of it this way. When we were growing up in the 80s, aside from the wonderful atrocity of the Star Wars Holiday Special, which you can get on digital and DVD, depending on who you talk to. I have it. And believe me, that was an atrocity. We have only had very, very few Star Wars shows until most recently. For example, The Ewoks Adventure, Caravan of Courage, The Ewoks Battle for Endor. The cartoon Droids. The cartoon The Ewoks. And that's about it. We finally have live action Star Wars shows. And according to, quote, the diehard fans out there, it is the worst thing that they've ever encountered. It could be worse. Could be a lot worse. Well, the first episode of The Acolyte, which is titled Lost and Found, makes sense. Lost and Found.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Such a good precedent for the show.
Takes place 100 years before the rise of the Empire. So 100 years before Revenge of the Sith. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the scroll, which is not your normal Star Wars scroll, by the way, 100 years before the rise of the Empire, it is a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war. But in the dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. One of them, a lone assassin, risks discovery to seek revenge. Gripping. Which it is.
I kind of like it, though.
It's a good hook.
It's simple.
It gets you hooked in. You know what the story is about right here from that scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Yeah. And the opening scene definitely drives it home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because the opening scene
has a fight.
has the wonderful brand new character, May.
Mm-hmm.
And she is on the path of righteousness, according to her, because she lands on planet Ueda. And she says, I'm looking for a Jedi. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to give you cash too. Well, that peddler says, okay, well, he's in the Jedi's in the cantina here. And just like Star Wars fashion, we enter the cantina. Whoa, aliens galore. Different species, humans, and among others, droids, aliens with fish heads. They're all over the place.
Yeah, the one guy does kind of look like a hammerhead shark, doesn't he?
Right?
The bartender.
Yeah, but, there is an actual hammerhead, but that's besides the point. But
right.
Various species.
Yes. Too many to mention.
And that's when she walks up to Jedi Master Indara, played by the ever so wonderful Trinity from The Matrix. That's right. I said it. Carrie-Anne Moss has now made it into Star Wars. First of all, good for her. Second of all, great fight scene.
Yes.
Great.
And if you're a good enough actor or actress, you can do that kind of change.
Yes. Absolutely. Because why not?
Yeah. Fight scene was pretty neat, though, how it started out. I mean, the last thing you think you would ever see or hear would be to see somebody walk up to a table full of supposed Jedis, one that we at least know is.
Yep.
Go into a fighting stance and say, we have unfinished business. Attack me with all your might.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, why, first of all, why are you saying that?
Right. I mean, and are you really that stupid?
Yeah. And second of all, the point of the Jedi are supposed to be peacekeepers.
Yes.
They don't start fights. They
Well, and
finish.
she made that statement. We do not attack people.
Yes. We do not attack the innocent. Which is true. They don't. They do not attack the innocent. But that's when she unmasks herself and Jedi Master Indara goes, "You, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that?" Interesting to say the least.
And then everybody at the table laughs at her.
Yeah, everybody laughs at her, but then the fight ensues. The fight ensues, and let me tell you, it's not just your normal, hey, I'm gonna take my lightsaber and slice your head off type fight.
Or
This
blast
is a
you
ninja
with,
fight.
with a gun, you know.
Yeah, this is a ninja fight.
It is hand-to-hand combat.
Indeed.
Matter of fact, her lightsaber is only comes out and is activated for, I would say, less than 30 seconds
Yeah, give or take.
in the entire fight scene.
Give or take. And it's interesting because May, as they're fighting and she gets recognized that she knows this person, she finally bites the big one because May makes her look. Not only makes her look, but Indara saves the barkeep and the child that's wrapped around his leg.
Which we don't see until a little bit later. But
Right. But at the same time, she also uses the other knife in the other hand to kill Indara.
now that's good freaking tactics.
That was very good tactics, if you ask me.
Good tactics because you know what a Jedi is going to do. A Jedi is going to try to save innocent people from getting hurt. The bartender had nothing to do with this fight. It's just his bar.
Yeah.
Or he's just an employee at this bar. I don't know which one it is, but
Yeah.
so when May throws the freaking, and may I say that May is damn good with them freaking daggers. I will say that.
Hands down.
So when she throws this dagger at the bartender, Indara's got to stop it. Granted, she only stops it about that far away from his face, but she stops it.
It's true.
And May knew she was going to do that and took advantage of the fact that she was distracted and looked away and plunged the dagger right into her heart.
And therefore, Indara falls to her death. Boom.
Yep.
Right
And
there. Collapses.
May is
Collapses.
now a murderer.
And that's it. And even May was considering on killing the barkeep when she went down to collect her knives. But because she saw the kid there, she's like, nope, okay. I don't need to do this, and I'm going to move on and do what I need to do. But at the same time, we see a mechanic known as Osha, which don't get me wrong, same actress. You think you're seeing a dream with the way she woke up.
Yeah, you would think. And
Not only
there's something
that,
very vital about this scene that we need to dig down on, but we'll talk about that.
well, yeah. I mean that's the thing. There's so much that was going on in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
That first of all, I think it's funny that her name is Osha, by the way.
Yeah. Different kind of OSHA.
And she's what's called a mechanic. And for those that don't know what a mechanic is, they're mechanics. They're freelance mechanics. They go on all these major starships and they do repairs and stuff like that because it was before droids took over. They were the ones that did it. The mechanics. Okay?
Yep.
So this is before the Republic went, hey, wait a minute, we need to keep these people safe. Only droids can do the repairs.
Yes.
Well, when she wakes up, She's in her cabin. She's got a droid named Pip. Isn't Pip's just adorable?
He's cute.
That
Cute
little
as, cute
little
as a
droid
button.
Pip.
He's cute as a button.
He's like a remote control with a head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I mean, really, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
But it's funny.
It's C-3PO, in a holster on your side.
Handheld.
There you go, handheld C-3PO.
Yeah, handheld. But
yeah.
He's got an arc welder, fire extinguisher on her. We don't know if he's got any other tools, but those are just the tools that we've seen already.
Right.
Okay? And when Osha wakes up, there's a red alarm going off. There's stuff, there's work to be done. She meets up with another mechanic called Philic. Nice guy, friends. They work together. And Osha tells Osha that she missed out on a trip to Nar Shaddaa the night before. And Osha's like, well, what I do in my free time is my business, none of yours. And, hey, this shield generator is not going to fix itself. Let's go. And the interesting part is this entire sequence right here is making you question yourself between what we just saw and what's going on now.
Put it this way, my reaction was, holy, what the hell?
Yeah. Absolutely. But as things are progressing, we see that they're actually on a Trade Federation ship, and they don't use shields. Word 789. Oh boy, the Acolyte. Yeah, we're not there yet. Bear with us.
Yes, we're in the beginnings of episode 1.
Yeah, we're just starting out with 1. We're gonna do 1 and 2 today, so we're working on it. But we trust me, we have words. We know people like it and people hate it. I'm a Star Wars guy. Star Wars is Star Wars. You can't change it. It is what it is. But, I hit the wrong button.
Whoopsie.
So, Philic says, well, then what needs to be repaired? So they go out the airlock and they head to the shield generator and they fix it. And we see a familiar face from the Trade Federation and Neomodan, which we've seen them in the Phantom Menace. So we have Captain Blex. And he basically says that mechanics are disposable.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Kill him. He doesn't care.
You know we can hear you, right?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Well, Ocean reminds him that they can hear him over the comms, and by the way, not disposable.
Right.
Well, they do what they need to do. They get to the field projector. They fix it. She pulls out Pip. Pip does what it needs to do. And as he's doing that, there's a pressure gauge that spikes and explodes. Yeah. Well, that causes some flashbacks. A little bit. Not much, but memories.
Just a quick one.
Memories of her sister, May, which we've seen, apparently. Separating from their parents and, stop daydreaming. And listen, we got to get this stuff done. Come on, let's do it. Well, that sparks some interesting conversations because Philic asks, well, what about your friends? What about them? We don't know much at the moment. until two familiar faces show up on the Federation ship.
They actually see the ship coming in.
Oh yeah, they see them
on the other ship. You know?
They're hailed and everything, and they are boarded. They are boarded, and we have Jedi Knight Yord Fandar and his Padawan Tassi Loa arrive on the ship, and the Neomodin's like, "Oh, I'm just doing whatever. I'm just here we are on a cargo ship." But that's when the Jedi say, "Listen, we're looking for Maya Nesia. Where is she? We know she's here. We need to talk to her." And he goes, "Listen, this is just a cargo ship. We don't carry people." Liar. Liar. But they have information.
You're a little fibber.
They have information knowing that she's on the ship and that she's working as a mechanic. Which, not wrong, because now we find out, hey, I know you. How are you? And by the way, don't mess with us, because, yeah. Well, Fandar goes to use a mind trick. And they go, she's in bunk 23 down sub-level of the ship. Go down there, down the hallway to the left. You'll see her. Neomodins are cowards.
Yes.
And I like that they continue to keep them as cowards. So that's a good thing. But they're very easily persuaded to do what others want them to do.
Right.
So when the two Jedi go downstairs, they find excuse me. Wow. Holy crap.
Wow.
It's been
what the hell was that?
That was a yawn that I could not stop. It just came out of nowhere.
It said,
it just went, yawn. And I went, whoa, hold it. Not good.
It popped up and said,
so they go downstairs. They get Osha or Asha. I say it's Osha because O, not Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but when they meet up, she says, "Hey, dude, you're a Jedi Knight now. Congratulations. I'm glad you passed the trials." And he goes, "Well, I mean, I see you settled in the corporate sector." Like, how dare you? How dare you go into business? Business. You should have stayed a Jedi. Well, it's also revealed that she left the Jedi Order 6 years prior. So they were both Padawans together, and one finally became a Jedi Knight with a Padawan of his own. And
moving up in the world.
Yeah. And Loa is being the bad cop. Because you got to remember, the Jedi Knights, if you can see behind JT, his cat's driving him nuts already. Yep, there it is. Go for the lights. Go for the lights. Chew it. Chew it. So, she's doing the interrogation. How long you been in Mechneck? Why'd you leave the Jedi Order? Blah, blah, blah. Here's what we know about you. Just so you know, even though you've been out here away from everything, we have tabs on you. We know where you are at all times and blah, blah, blah. And Fandar kind of helps steer the Padawan like, hey, listen, whoa, I know her. Relax. Everything's good.
Right.
But that's when she responds to a major concern about her admitting to being a Jedi. And Fandar, the two of them were, they were, I don't want to say they were a thing because they weren't a thing, but they were friends. They knew each other.
They were friends, close friends. They were Padawans for years together.
Right.
They helped each other out. They grew close.
And
like
that's
people do, especially when you're in a military type surrounding, which, training as a Padawan is basically that.
Yeah. And that's where that's where Fandar says, listen, she's been through a lot. Aside from the Jedi Council, the Jedi and leaving, she's been in mourning because her family was killed. She lost her entire family. Her mother, her sister, the whole village. And Master Soul recruited her, bringing her in, started training her, doing what they needed to do.
Right.
But that's when he also says, well, a Jedi was murdered on Ueda, and you were there. And she goes, oh, no, I wasn't. I was here. Then he says, well, it was Jedi Master Indara. Indara.
Inarda? Who the hell is Inarda?
It's hard to keep up with all these names, trust me.
It is. But you just pulled a JT.
I did. And when Lois says that, she goes, no. The person that killed Indara matches your exact description. And then we see the barkeep come in. That's her. She's the one that did it. And she's like, what?
She's the one that killed the Jedi and destroyed my bar.
Yep. Uh-huh. Which is interesting.
Good to see you, Will.
Will went down to Florida. He's down in Florida. He's going to give us some good stuff. Well, after all of that is said and done, the Jedi escort her down the corridor, and there's a Jedi droid there going, all right, prison transport, let's go. Got to get out of here. Gets her on the ship, goes into hyperspace. Well, news of this starts spreading through the Jedi Temple. And Master Soul is instructing brand new Padawans. The little ones. The little ones are interesting, to say the least, because they're the ones who get it. I think they're more in tune with the Force than the adults are. It's all they know. It's all they know. But they're talking about balance and life. Light and dark. And one of them is going deep into the balance and fire. And that's when they start talking about how the Force is like fire and ocean. A nice lesson, if you think about it, especially when it comes to this particular story, because this is a whodunit cop drama.
Right. He made one interesting statement in this lesson while he was giving it.
Yep.
That I found interesting. Because he goes, feel the weight of the Force.
Yep.
And it just kind of, it made me go, huh? Wait a minute. The weight. And it's like, you know what? I guess I could see how that would be. As this unknown feeling just overtakes your body.
Yeah.
So it took me a second, but I was like, wait a minute, feel the weight of the.
Yes.
Okay.
But
there's an interesting line in that lesson.
But he also ties together fire and ocean, saying that even though they're opposites, they both must be respected in the same exact way. Yes. Because if you think about it, fire or ocean is the light and dark side of the Force. So you have to respect both sides. Yep. So I'm liking Master Soul right now.
Yes.
Because he reminds me of Qui-Gon a little bit. Just with the way he sees things. Well, another master, Master Roa, Master Ro, RWOH, Ro, old friend of Saul's, comes in to tell him about Osha and what's going on, and that she's a suspect in a murder of Jedi Master Indara. And he's like, whoa, hold it. No, she's not like that. There's no way, not happening. And he goes, her and I saved OSHA from the fire on Brendock. And we thought we were their protectors because we saved them. We brought them in. We wanted to make sure they were good to go. You know, they were a political statement to their opponents. And they're like, well, we're bringing her in. So Jedi Soul said, well, if that's the case, I will investigate this.
Yeah, let me go get her.
Let me go get her. Let me go talk to her. Let me be in charge. And she goes, take who you need.
Yeah, she fought him on it at first. She's like, no, we can't afford to lose you on, this simple of a mission.
Right.
But, he's good enough where he convinced her.
Yes.
She's my Padawan. I know her. I can't see her doing this. Let me go get her.
Let me go.
If she won't fight me to come in.
Yes.
Kind of thing,
And Ro also says to Saul, well, listen, if I give you the sport, are you going to give it back if we pursue justice for the murder of Indara on this? And he goes, yeah. Reluctantly, but yes. Well, at the same time, on the prison ship, OSHA's speaking to one of the inmates, and they're in the process of trying to figure things out. One of which is being restrained by a parasite that's basically paralyzing him. So he can't move or talk or do anything like that because he is that bad. And the parasite is a new thing that I've never heard of until this show. A Daibuk. Which it kind of looks like a starfish that just, you put it on the person's mouth and it just does whatever it needs to do.
Looks like a four-legged starfish.
Yeah. It's interesting, to say the least. Well, while that's happening, the others are like, well, if you help us do this, we're going to overtake them and we're going to get in the escape pods and do what we need to do. And one of them says, hey, why don't you help? Help us overpower the droids and we can use the escape pods and go. And OSHA says that she has faith in the Jedi. And that kind of goes, okay, fine. Well, suit yourself. Enjoy prison. Right. Later, and they start to do their uprising. They signal the pilot droids, shut them down. They do what they need to do, and the ship loses control and starts going through an asteroid field, getting bumped, getting nicked, doing whatever. Well,
it's a bad place to come out of hyperspace at.
Yeah, very, very bad. Well, they overtake the ship, they escape, they get in the escape pods, and poof, gone. They're gone, but they also leave OSHA there to die, which is oh so wonderful. Well, OSHA also manages to get Pip, and Pip is able to unlock her cell, and at least this way it gives them a little bit of a chance. To the point where the damage had been done on the ship, and they crash on a world called Karlak, which is kind of like Hoth, only with a lot of mountains. Hoth is just, Hoth. Well, that brings us to Master Saul again. Because on Coruscant, what's the Lon? I think it's Jecki Lon, who's a Padawan, comes in, says to Master Soul and Master Ro, you're needed here. We got an issue. Yeah, the ship went down. It was on its way here, and poof, OSHA was on the ship, and it did whatever it needed to do. And while they're there, They just managed to happen to have all the prisoners that escaped except for OSHA. And they also say, hey, by the way, the Jedi killer is the one who orchestrated the escape.
Yep.
So the inmates are now pinning it on OSHA. Makes
Trying
sense.
to.
Makes sense.
I say hi to the lawnmower. Just joined us in the chat
my
room.
cousin.
Says, OSHA like the Occupational Safety and Health Administration? I joke.
You're not wrong, because we actually said that joke in the beginning of the show.
Yep.
We thought it was interesting that her name was OSHA and she's a mechanic that does repair work on a ship.
Yeah, he was late getting here, so we understand.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. It's true. Well,
And it's even spelled the same way.
yeah. Well, Master Soul says, hey, I'm going to get her. I need permission. Give me permission to go to Karlak. I'll bring her back myself. And she goes, take who you need.
Well, something vital that happened here that we have to talk about just real quick.
Yep, real quick.
He went to the guy who had the thing, the psycho guy, basically.
Yes.
Calmed his mind and talked to him, and he told Saul that she did not do it.
Yep.
She helped him, and he betrayed her.
Yes, he used the Force on that one.
And, so it revealed, and the lady even said that still doesn't clear her of the murder.
True.
It clears her of this, but it doesn't clear her of the murder. So
Yep. Absolutely.
I thought it was an important thing that we needed to get in there.
Absolutely. Well,
Sorry. Go ahead.
Back on the ship on Karlak, OSHA wakes up in the snow to the same exact way that she woke up from her bed in that dream that she had. Only this time she sees another figure and she's following the shadow. And that's where she encounters her twin, May. Before we see a flashback of what happened on that planet, on Brendok with the fire, the younger version of May says, I've always been around. I've never been dead. We're inseparable as twin sisters.
Yep.
And then we see their childhood home. We don't see any other people. We just, it's younger versions of them.
Yeah.
And then OSHA says to May, did you kill Jedi Master Indara? And she says, yes. And I will kill them all.
That's a freaking chilling statement.
Oh, it was creepy, especially when her eyes turned black. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, and it makes you wonder, what's the whole story behind what happened there? Because the only thing we know at this point is that May started a fire that ended up killing her parents.
Yeah.
And they thought killed May. Or at least that was the story that they gave, was that her sister they couldn't save her sister in the fire.
Right. Well, this is where the manhunt begins. Because not only does May's eyes turn jet black, but that's when she also wakes up again and gets Pip, and he goes, we got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also said to Pip, well, by the way, you won't believe what I just saw.
Yeah.
So
who I just saw, actually.
Who I just saw.
Yeah. That is good. Yeah.
So while Jedi Master Soul is on his way to Karlak, Lon asks him about OSHA, and he says to her, listen, she was Brendok 16 years ago. Her and her sister May started a fire, killed their entire family. So we're getting the story. Now, for me personally, if they go into flashbacks on this, even though we've heard this story now, I think they're wasting just time, because you can sum this up right here, this is the scene to sum it up. The two started a fire. The fire got out of control. They killed their family. They didn't mean to. They were separated. They thought May was dead. Done. There's your backstory. There's your backstory. Lon even goes to
there's got to be more to it because, why is, if they both survived, why wasn't May saved along with her sister?
True.
And that, so we got to find out what happened there that would cause May to have this mission of revenge,
yes,
of killing them all.
Well, but you got to remember in this scene right here, this is where they flat out said, well, by the way, there's no mention of May in the Jedi archives, so how do you know May is the true killer? And Saul goes, May's dead.
Yeah, he believes that she's dead, supposedly witnessing her death.
Right. So they get to Karlak. They're down on, they find the ship, and Osha sees the Jedi ship coming in and starts to run and hide. Fandor and Lorne are inspecting the wreckage. They believe nobody could survive that because why not? Lorne goes, you know what? I kind of disagree on this. And Soul thinks scavengers are at work, and they start to lead the group outside. Through there, Osha's going through a network of tunnels and gets to a cliff.
Yep.
The three Jedi follow her to that, and they find her. And just before the bad things happen, Osha says, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And she falls. She slips and falls and starts to, tumble to her death. But Soul uses the Force, grabs her, and pulls her up, including Pip. And that's when Osha says May is alive.
Pip stuck his head out and went.
So that's when she says May is alive. And he goes, I believe you. Come with us. Let's leave here together and let's figure it out. And that's where we get to the end of the episode. But we hear a voice. We hear a deep voice. And we see May walking along a rocky shore as this deep male voice talks about the Jedi living a dream. They believe everyone shares it. Those who attack a Jedi with weapons fail, since steel and laser are no threat to them. But his acolyte kills without a weapon. The acolyte kills the dream.
Yep.
And that's when May gets closer and closer, and we see a cloaked figure who has a red lightsaber. Ooh, the Sith. Ooh.
The reveal of the bad guy.
Who we don't really see.
All right, so I was odd numbers last time.
Yes.
So you're odd numbers this time.
Oh, yay. Well, for one, this is basically a Star Wars cop drama. Okay? I don't care about the political things that people see in it. I don't. I don't care about whether it's gay, straight, bi, rainbow, purple, down in the dumps, under your shoe, licking your butt. I don't care. I don't care. It's something different.
Yes.
It's something different. Now, I kind of called the whole sister thing in the beginning of the show.
But that was pretty easy.
It was pretty
easy to call.
Yeah, it was easy to call. But at the same time, you're like, okay, well, yep, that's how it's done. So for me, for this episode, just right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Mostly because, yes, it's different, which I like different. I like cop dramas. I like the whodunit, which we already know.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they're holding the reveal of who the Acolyte's master is. We know May is the Acolyte.
Mm.
So we go from there.
Or they want to be acolyte.
Oh, well, no, that's May is the Acolyte. They already said it right there. The Acolyte kills the dream. He's a Sith
Yes,
Lord.
but the
Simple as that.
The acolyte kills without a weapon, and she has not done that to this point.
Right.
So
Now,
she has not passed the full test yet. Anyway, go ahead.
true. So as of now, it's a 3.5. I'm hoping
Okay.
it'll get better. I'm hoping it'll
Right.
get better. But we'll see where it goes. What
Right.
about you? What do you give it?
Well, I tell you, the first thing I got to say is, holy crap, for the first time in any Star Wars series that I have, any Star Wars show that I have seen up to this point, somebody had a freaking blanket.
Right?
Because Osha had a blanket that she was underneath when she woke up from the dream.
Hey, listen, everybody needs a binky, okay?
I'm telling you, see, and that's just it. They got, you got to, it's a Linus thing, man. You got to have the blanket.
It's a security thing.
So just the fact that I saw a blanket in this show gives it a 0.5 point.
Yes.
Just that. I enjoyed it. It feels different. I mean, yeah, it's a Star Wars cop drama and blah 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 and everything, but it feels different.
Yeah.
I love the feel of it. Pacing was a little questionable a couple of times
Sure.
during the episode, but overall it was good. I liked the reveals. I liked the flashbacks that kind of gave us a little bit of history behind it and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at about a 3.75, so I'm right there with you.
Okay. All
But
right.
like I said, the blanket gives it an extra 0.5 point. So technically, I guess I'm at like 3.25.
Nice.
So there you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Well, from there we're going to get into episode 2, and this one we're not going to go into as much detail. We're going to kind of do a gloss over with this, because in reality, when it comes to this episode,
Mhm.
obviously it's a continuation of the first. We're seeing May and Osha and Sol and all of them are doing what they need to do. So this is an investigation of a murder. Okay. Again, the Jedi are keepers of the peace. Simple as that. Well, we see a brand new planet, Olega. Good old Olega. We see a nice little city / town / castle type thing, right in the background. That's where we're going. And we see May got her veil on. By the way, don't get me wrong, she actually looks pretty cool with that outfit, with the veil and everything across her face. She does. She looks pretty cool. Well,
Yeah, agree.
she reaches an urchin in the street and says, "Hey, here's some money. Let's get into the Jedi Temple." So she's walking through the corridors and she sees a bearded Jedi is sitting silent in meditation. But not only is he sitting silent, he's up in the air.
He's floating a good 3 foot off the ground.
He's like doing the whole monk thing.
Yep.
He's got his staff and he's just there. He's just, I'm doing what I need to.
Yeah.
Doing what I need to. Well, as he's meditating, she introduces herself to this Jedi who is known as Master Torben. And that they have unfinished business, just like in the first episode. And she says, "I dare you to attack me with all your strength and might, just like previously with Indara." He doesn't respond. doesn't respond, doesn't do anything. He is just floating like he's sitting on a toilet bowl. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Cannot hear you.
This is the funniest part of this episode.
Yep.
What happened next?
Yes.
Hilarious.
Do tell.
Well, he's not listening to her. He's off in his meditative world. So she says, okay, well, I'll attack him. And she doesn't realize that, even while he's meditating, he can put up a force field.
Well, anybody can if you have the right training.
Exactly. So he can put up a force field for his own protection.
Yep.
So she attacks and she goes to punch him. Ding! And just stops. And she attacks this. She kicks at it. She kicks at the bottom. She kicks at the top. She kicks at the side. She's throwing knives at it. The whole freaking 9 yards, everything just bouncing off.
Oh, yeah.
And she's sitting there looking at him like, what the hell, man? It was a comedy of errors. They say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
That, my friends, was a perfect example of Star Wars insanity.
Absolutely. So while she's doing that, there's also an alarm going off of an intruder alert. So we have another couple of Jedis walking around, and one comes in, and she manages to get out of view, hide, and escape, so she's not caught.
Through the hole in the roof.
Yep, through the window. Through the window.
No,
it was like
that's a hole in the roof.
It was a skylight is what it was, a skylight.
They must not get rain there,
Yeah. Meanwhile, the others are on Karlak, but they're about to leave. And Osha wakes up to hear Padawan Lon trying to start the ship up again, but it's not working. So she says to her, hey, repolarize the power couplings and it should start right up. And she does, and boom, ship starts. And then she goes, I was a mech neck.
You must have been a pilot. Nope.
Well, technically, yes. She is a Jedi, so, she could technically fly. But it's better that she replied with as being a mech neck instead. And that's when Lon says that being a mech neck must be dangerous work. And only thought the droids were able to work outside. And she goes, no, I'm better company and more flexible than a droid. And then, of course, Pip chimes in and is like, hey, wait a second. How dare you? Well, Master Soul and Jedi Thandar are having a talk about restraining Osha and saying, hey, listen, we have rules. We got to go by them. He's like, listen, I know her. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But then he goes, well, what about this twin theory? What if she's working together? And he goes, don't let fear affect your judgment, which is a very big lesson for Jedi Knights and Padawans, because what happens with fear? Fear leads to hate. Hate,
which leads to the dark side.
And so on and so forth. Well, Master Ro calls up and says, hey, how's everything going? Well, we've got Osha, and oh, by the way, May is around. It's been 16 years, but she's around, and we think she's highly trained.
Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. Yeah. Because that means there's somebody out there doing some shit they're not supposed to be doing.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So Saul asks, hey, do you want us to investigate, or do you want us to go back to Coruscant for, certain things that's going on in this whole twin theory? And Ro just goes, yeah.
Check it out.
Investigate the Olega break-in at the Jedi Temple there, and bring Osha with you. she could be an asset, and then let's see what we got going on. So they head there. They go to find the Jedi Temple to investigate and see what's going on. And while that's happening, May comes in contact with a man named Kamir. Now, Kamir, how would you describe Kamir?
A grease ball.
Yeah, okay.
In every sense of the term and then some.
Yeah. Well, he asks her...
Slimy grease ball. That's what I meant.
There you go. Well, he asks her, hey, where were you last night? Thought you were going to, come on by. And she goes, well, I was busy. I'm out there risking my life. And he goes, well, did you kill the man who owns the shop? Did you? Yes, I did. It's my shop now. I can do what I need to. It's for me blending in. Kamir also says, I could do what I want, where I want, whenever I want. And May goes, just don't sample the merchandise, please. So she can already tell he's a druggie, clearly. And Kamir even goes into detail and says, hey, well, did you kill the target? And May says she tried, but couldn't touch him. What was it? What did she say? He was impenetrable?
Yes.
Impenetrable.
Yep, that was the exact word.
So May says, well, listen, if he's impenetrable, can you make me a poison? But that poison needs to be made of bunta. Now, bunta has yellow leaves, and it comes from what they call the bunta tree. Okay?
Our home planet.
This is the key factor for poisoning somebody with either by ingestion or, in this case, what some of them would probably do would put it on the tip of a sword or something like that, or even an arrow. And when you're shot with it, that poison goes through your body, through your bloodstream and everything, and eventually kills you. Okay? Smart move. Yes. It's a smart move.
Keep going.
Yep. So he makes it. He makes it. And while he's reluctant, she also is like, hey, listen, I'm running out of time because this is what's going to happen. And, oh, by the way, I need to take out the sleeping monk. And then he goes, it's going to be tougher if you have to defeat a Wookiee.
Well, there was something else that he said, but she said that she's running out of time. He goes,
yes.
You're also running out of Jedi.
Yes. It's true, because she's got Jedi to kill.
Yep.
So he even says that, by the way, a Jedi's weakness is they have to justify their quote, galactic dominance.
Yes. Through peace. And that's when May just interjects, goes, hey, peace is a lie. I mean, she's not wrong. She's not right either. She can go, half and half, But she also believes that Torben found peace, but maybe she could give him absolution. So Kamir gives her the poison, and she goes off and does what she needs to do. But also, May warns him that it would not bode well for them if she told the master about their conversation. It's a very interesting statement.
Yes.
To be made. Don't tell the boss. Don't tell the big guy.
Don't tell the head
about
honcho.
This conversation.
Don't tell the head honcho.
Yep.
Because shit's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, he agreed with her on that. So.
Yes. In the meantime, Osha introduces Pip to Master Soul and says, "Hey, what kind of droid is that? What kind is it?" And she goes, "Well, ouch, that hurt. Oof. It's a sync droid. So he can sync to the computers, and they can do diagnostics, stuff like that, help things, fix them, change fuel levels, and do whatever she needs it to do." And then he asks about the tattoo on her arm, and that she got it from being out one crazy night with her mechanic crew, also known as she got really drunk and went, "Let's go get tattoos. It'll be great. It'll be great." And that's when they start talking about May being alive, if, Osha believes that May killed Indara, and what the plausible explanation would be for them to still be alive and May not perishing.
Yep.
And that's when Osha tells Soul, "Listen, what happened was not your fault."
Right.
And Soul said, "Listen, I made peace with that a long time ago. I know it wasn't our fault. We did what we needed to do." And then they were interrupted. "Hey, we're at Olega. So now let's head over to the Jedi Temple because we need to go talk to them and see what's what." Well, at the same time, May is getting into the temple as well.
The timing of this is very, very, very intricate.
Yes. Yes. It's interesting how they're going about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, when I see this as a cop drama, this is missed them by 5 seconds type thing.
Yep. Yeah, I told you we shouldn't have stopped and gotten that donut.
Right? Right?
Hey.
So Soul requests to speak with Master Tobin, and the one in charge, aside from Tobin, says he hasn't spoken to anybody in over 10 years. What makes you think he's going to talk to you? I'm his friend. I'm his buddy, his pal, his amigo. Well, at the same time, May is already in Tobin's chambers, and she says that she knows why he took the Barash vow. Now, the Barash vow, according to the Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
this is not something that you normally do. When you take this oath, you refrain from all activities related to the Jedi Order, no matter what. It's kind of like a form of penance. You disengage from everything around you except the Force. So it's kind of like you're a Buddhist monk in 100% total meditation, and nothing can do anything to hurt you. A lot of the time it's because the Jedi do it for atonement, and it helps them refocus themselves onto the Force and to help make their future better. So if you think about it, it's kind of like a slap on your own wrist. Okay, I'm going to get better now. Probably the best way to explain it. All right.
I'm gonna throw a link into the chat room for anybody who wants to take a look.
Yep.
This will help give you a little bit more of an idea of what the Barash is, what it's all about, and people that have actually used it in the past.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
It's crazy. Well,
It is.
while he's doing this meditation for this vow, May says, your past still haunts you. Either you confess to your crime or receive the forgiveness that you seek.
Absolution.
And she places the vial on the floor. Now, Soul and the others are approaching Torben's chambers. Osha splits off and goes a different way because she thought she saw May.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Well, May tells him to face the past, and Torben comes out of his meditative state, stands up, he goes down to the floor, tells him, I've been waiting for you. And before drinking the poison vial, he says, forgive me. And tells May that they thought they were doing the right thing. Which makes sense. 9 times out of 10, the Jedi are sent there to help, so they're thinking they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
While that's happening, Osha sees a manifestation of the younger May and continues on down the corridor. And that's where she finds Torben dead. She looks up, she sees the window that May escaped through, and the others reach the chamber. And a blue lightsaber is now in front of Osha's face, but she's pleading her innocence. But it just so happens that Jedi Lon says she's good. It wasn't her. Torben was dead when
in my sight at all times.
Yep. So Osha thanks them for defending her. And Lon and Soul deduce that Master Torben drank the poison willingly, wasn't forced. And that's when Osha recognizes it as a Bunta from her home world of Brendok. So now she's putting 2 and 2 together. Okay.
Yep.
So now they're like, okay, well, this happened. So now what? And that's when they set up surveillance around the town. And they come up with finding Kamir. So let's go interrogate him. Who do we send in? Let's send in Osha. Because she looks like May. Why not? And they're talking. She's trying to get stuff out of him. But he recognizes that she is not May.
Well, and there was a dual purpose in this. One was to, try to get him to talk. Mm-hmm. The other one was to try to get him to implicate himself in Torben's death.
Yes. But here's the other thing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're also trying to get May to come out.
Yes. Also trying to find May.
Leave no stone unturned.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while they're questioning Kamir, Lon says, hey, we know you supplied May with the poison. We have the confession.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamir tries to do the whole backstabbing thing. And no, it was all May. May did this. It was all her idea.
I just gave her the stuff. She didn't tell me what she was going to do with it.
Yep. That's it.
That was his argument of why he shouldn't be in trouble for it.
Yep. And Kamir pleads not to wipe his mind. Don't wipe my mind. I didn't do it. So Saul asks Kamir what about his relationship with May, and Kamir claims that he is her supplier. He claims he started off as a gun runner for the Hutts, but then became a supplier. Makes sense. The guy knows what he's doing. He's a slime ball.
Yep.
He's a slime ball.
Greasy slime ball.
Well, the best way to do this is to get her out of hiding and set up a watch on the perimeter. We need to find her. They do what they need to do. They try to get her to come out as fast as possible. And,
well, he gave her up. He said that she's
yes.
coming back tonight.
Yes, she's going to come back tonight. And oh, by the way, you can get her then.
Yep.
And that's when they say, all right, well, Osha, you're going to be coming with Saul and, doing whatever you need to. And by the way, we're coming back tonight. Keep an eye on the place. I don't want anybody moving. I don't want anybody leaving, so on and so forth. Well, this is where things, I don't know. I don't think they would have gotten out of hand, would you say?
No.
It was more of a, oops.
it got interesting. It is what happened. It got interesting because you've got a lot of different forces, all playing at the same time. Because you've got Saul, who, in a way, even though he has accepted what happened on Bandar,
yep,
and forgiven himself for it, he still feels bad. He wants to try to help May.
Yep.
You've got what the hell is his name? The Jedi Knight that just passed his tests.
Oh, Fandar.
Fandar. You got him who just wants to find her, catch her, and get her in shackles.
Yep.
You've got Osha, who, for all this time thought her sister was dead.
Yeah.
And everything. So you've got a lot of different forces going on. Plus, you've got the force going on between Saul and Osha.
Yes.
Because they even got into kind of a little bit of an argument in the hallway just before Fandar saw May.
Yes.
So there's a lot of forces all playing at one time, and it very easily could have gotten out of control if it wasn't for the control that Saul has.
Yes.
Because we get into a amazing fight scene here, which, in my opinion, is better than the fight scene with Andara in episode 1.
Truth. Very true.
So I'll give it back to you.
Well, but you also have to remember that this is the same time that Osha is talking with Saul, saying, hey, just remember, she wants to take out 4 of you.
Yep.
And it's the
And she
4 of
names
you
out the
that
4 people.
The 4 of you that were on Brendok 16 years ago. Indara,
Right.
Torben, Kilnaka, and Saul.
Mm-hmm.
So Osha's like, May wants to kill them. And you.
And that's what... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's why I say that something happened back on Bandar,
right,
that they haven't revealed yet when it comes to May and her supposed death. Why was it they were able to save Osha and not able to save May, that pissed May off so much that she wants to go and kill, and at this point has gone and killed 2 Jedi Masters and wants to kill 2 more?
right,
That's a really pissed off person.
right. Which we'll find out.
Right. So what's the rest of the freaking story? That's what I want, which I know I'm going to have to wait for. But that's what I want, is what's the rest of the story of what happened on Bandar.
Yeah.
Sorry for raging there for a minute.
It's okay, but we just got to hurry up. So
Yes.
we're later in the night, they spot May. Vandar spots May and says, by the way, here she comes. And that's when Saul confronts her face to face, saying, you survived, killed Indara and Torben.
Yep.
Why? And May just instinctively throws a dagger at Saul's feet and removes her hood and then starts fighting him. This was such a cool fight scene.
Yes.
Because
the things that happen during this fight scene are amazing.
Yeah. So Saul questions May as to why she's attacking him without a weapon. And they just keep going at it. And she's trying to get Saul's lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And he notices.
Which she did the same thing with Indara, too.
Yes, she did try to get Indara's lightsaber. Because in this point, this is where people don't understand some things. One, yes, you, as a Sith, you can build your own lightsaber, but you're taught to use the Force on the Kyber crystal to turn it red. It's like you're breaking it, you're hurting it, you're making it bleed. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a status symbol that you took a Jedi Knight's saber,
right,
and converted it to the dark side.
And killed him with it. Now it's your weapon. Okay?
Yep.
Now, the other thing is, we've seen that with Ahsoka. She's killed a couple of Inquisitors, took their lightsabers and healed the Kyber crystals, turning them white, which is why her lightsabers are white. But, again, that's way in the future. In this case, she's trying to get that lightsaber for a reason. Coming close, but missing every single time, and he's noticing this. Okay?
Yep.
So Saul is, surprising her left and right, snatching her knives, disarming her, doing what he is trained to do. And he says, "You have misunderstood the Jedi arts, and your master has failed you."
Yep. Who's training you?
Who's training you? Tell me. May just responds with violence and starts attacking him. Mm-hmm. So now this time, Saul's using the Force, pushing her up out of the way, away from the ground, trying to use a Force probe. He says, "Listen, your master has taken a lot of precautions here to hide his identity from you. Do you know who he is?"
Which is, you wouldn't have been able to identify him anyway. Right.
Unless, he let something slip, which I doubt it.
Yeah, no. This guy's too good.
Yeah. So they're continuing to fight. Well, now May thinks Saul is lying and hurls a dagger at him again.
Because he told her that Osha was alive.
Yeah. Vandar uses the Force to catch her blade to back him up. So now everybody's starting to get involved.
Yep.
Jackie arrives and
brings
says,
the ship over. "You're under arrest."
Yeah, Jackie arrives in the ship. "Hey, stand down. You're under arrest. Come with us. You better surrender. We're coming after you." And despite being cornered, May uses the Force to summon up a sandstorm, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. Because she looked down and she noticed the ground vibrating.
Yep.
From, and the dust and stuff moving around on the ground from the force of the ship.
Right.
Says, "Hey, I can make basically a smoke screen."
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the musician doing the smoke screen in front of him and disappearing.
Yep.
Which was very, very, very inventive of her to be able to think of that in the pressure situation that she was in, which also says a lot for her training.
Yeah. Well, from here, May bumps into a speeder.
Gets run over by one.
Driver says, "You okay? I'm going to help you." And she knocks him out and takes the vehicle. And that's when she runs into Osha. And Osha looks at her. The two of them look shocked. And she tries to shoot her with a stun. Misses. May flees, and the Jedi show up.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think she missed on purpose?
I do.
Both times, because he shot at her twice.
I do.
So do I.
I think she missed on purpose. One, because she's her sister, and two, she's not a stormtrooper. They don't normally shoot guns. But the aftermath of that whole battle is Master Rowe is now being contacted. And Rowe is like, "Okay, well, I called to order the Jedi Council, and we're going to discuss this with the other masters." And that's when Saul says, well, we know where May is going next. Ro responds, we do not make any decisions without a meaningful discussion, which is the Achilles heel of the Jedi Order, by the way. Because the Jedi Order, they're in charge.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to react to a situation, and the Jedi hurt themselves at times by having to have this meaningful conversation.
Yeah. Well, while
it
that's
comes back to
going
haunt him
on,
many times.
Rose says to Saul that she expects him back on Coruscant, and the next day, May confronts Kamir and says, I'm going to kill you. You sold me out. And he goes, what if I can get you off planet? What if I can get you off planet and get you to Kafar?
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing was getting her off planet was not a selling point to her until he said about Kofar and finding, because he found
Kalnaka,
the other Jedi, which just so happens to be a Wookiee.
Which is extremely rare in Star Wars. Extremely rare. It is canon, but it's rare.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Kafar. Two scavengers come upon a crashed starship, and they're trying to get the hyperdrive, and that's when you hear a Wookiee. You hear a Wookiee, and Kalnaka is there, who uses the Force to seize their blasters, break them apart with his bare hands.
Well, Wookiees are pretty freaking strong.
Yes.
And what do? They run the hell away.
Yes, they do.
I'm out of here, man.
Yes, they do. So, and that's the end of the episode.
Yep.
That's the end of the episode. So, what do you give it?
This was a really interesting episode.
Mm-hmm.
This was a really interesting episode because you finally have the confrontation, the visual confirmation, both for May and for Osha, that their sister is alive.
Yes.
They now know for themselves for sure that their sister is alive.
Yes.
Which, I mean, obviously is pretty freaking earth-shattering.
Yeah.
The fight scene, like I said, and I think this fight scene was better than the fight scene with Endara.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he stops her from smashing her skull on the ground, steals the knives off of a freaking dagger thrower, and she doesn't even know it.
It's true.
Amazing. Great, nice storytelling. The pacing on this episode, I feel, was better than the first episode. Overall, I loved it. Great episode. I like this episode better than the episode 1. I'm at a 4 1/4 on this episode.
Okay. All right. I got you. Well, I'm a little bit lower than you.
I kind of figured you were going to be.
I'm a little bit lower than you.
But again, this is fanboy rating here. So.
Yes. And for me, this is more Star Wars based. I love what they did. I love the fight scene. I still like the good cop, bad cop type of storytelling, the whodunit.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that every episode is going to be one of those, oh, we just missed her.
Mm-hmm.
Not 100% sure on that yet. It's just my thought.
I don't think it's going to be every episode, but I think they're going to catch her before it's over.
Yeah.
I think several of the episodes are going to be on damn just missed her.
And
I'll agree with you there.
And I hope not, but if it does, it does. There's nothing I can do about it. But at the same time, the writing was a little decent on this one. The acting was a little so-so. Not bad, not great. But I love that we're going to new worlds. And I love that we're not just centering on 2 to 3 planets at a time.
The only world that we've gone to so far that we've heard of, that I've heard of before, has been Coruscant when they've talked about that.
Right. Which is fine because that's where the High Republic is based out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am going with a 4 on this one.
Okay. So you're I mean, we're the same amount apart in this one as we were in the first one.
Yeah.
There was one other thing that was said during this episode that I really laughed at, I really liked, was when Fandar was questioning Saul about OSHA and, you know, should she be going, shouldn't she be shackled, blah, 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 and all that stuff. He goes, listen to your Jedi.
Yeah. Just listen.
Basically, he said, I'm the boss. Shut up and do what I told you to do. But he did it very nicely.
And he did good.
I found that very funny. I did.
He did. It's wonderful. Well, that is the end of the first 2 episodes of Acolyte, which means next week we're going to be doing episodes 3 and 4, because 4 comes out this Tuesday, right? It comes out on Tuesday nights during the Sully
Tuesday
show.
nights at 9:00.
Yeah. So we'll be doing 3 and 4 next week, and then we'll be caught up with 1 episode a week after that.
Yes.
It's interesting. I mean, the jury is still out for me overall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not listening to the general public that are out there that are bitching, complaining about this, because as a Star Wars fan, I'm going, dude, it's Star Wars, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's a freaking movie.
Give it a shot.
Get away from all the political crap. Sit back and enjoy a freaking show.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that simple. You know, quit being a dick about shit.
Exactly. So, for this week's episode of 2 Ewoks in the Park, make sure you tune in next week for episodes 3 and 4. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow to The Sully Show right here on Accidental Punch TV, where we've got the world record story as well as the dumbass of the week. And we'll see what else happens. So, for the redneck, there he is. You can't miss him. That's JT. I'm Sully. And we will see you all next week for 2 Ewoks in the Park, and tomorrow for The Sully Show. Have a great night, everybody, and may the Force be with you.